What's happening, guys? UFC Saudi Arabia this weekend. I don't usually do the fight nights, but this is a pretty good card, and Robert Whittaker's on this, so I wanted to do a breakdown and picks for this. Unfortunate with what happened. Chimaev's not in there now. It is unfortunate. The last week or so, how many fights have been changed. It's been absolute chaos for the UFC. But they always do a great job of saving the day and at least giving us something. It might not be exactly what was there at the start. Chimaev is obviously a big name. It would have been great for Saudi card and puts the winner in the title contentions. But we've got Aliskerov that's stepped in, which good on him. That's always good. But we're going to get into that last. We're going to do the top three fights. Who's first? Who are we talking about first?
Gastelum v. Rodriguez.
All right, Gastelum and Rodriguez. This is going to be a fun one. Both like their boxing, both heavy boxing sort of style, especially Rodriguez. With Gastelum, you'll see him mix it up. He can mix it up. He'll throw head kicks. He even threw head kicks at Israel Adesanya, who's so much taller. So he will mix it up. He will throw some other things in there. And wrestling, we've seen him. He's got some good wrestling as well. I still think this is going to be more of a stand-up battle. Will Gastelum shoot? Yeah, maybe. If he's having troubles on the feet, I think you will see him shoot. They've both got good hands. The thing is, different type of striking. Denny Rodriguez, a more heavy sort of boxing style, you'd say. He will like to play with that range, a little bit of a closer range, where he won't go as far, like at a kickboxing range or MMA sort of range. He doesn't mind being at a more kickboxing range rather than that little bit further out than a lot of the MMA fighters like to be. So he's happy to box there and does his best work there. That's probably a better way of saying it. So where Gastelum, he can do real good stuff on the inside and he can do stuff on the outside as well. I've mentioned this in a couple of breakdowns, maybe with Gastelum, how he did a great job considering Israel Adesanya's incredible striking to find his way in and still land on someone that's so rangy, so good with his range, like Israel Adesanya. He did very good things. He's very good at shuffling his feet. He's got really good footwork to get himself into range and bring his feet to have that base when he finishes the combos. So he's very good at that, and I feel like that can be a factor in this fight. I think the fact that he can play a longer range, even though they both like boxing, if they're just going to sit in the middle, I think that suits both of them. But at a longer range, I think that suits Gastelum a little bit more. So if you're going to have Rodriguez trying to press him and get to that boxing range that I feel he would want, Gastelum can catch him coming in, might make the takedowns a bit easier, and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting one. We've seen. Here's another good example. Curtis and Gastelum was a fight I do remember recently. That was a boxer against Gastelum. Chris Curtis has got really good boxing, Iraqi style. He doesn't mind that sort of in close sort of boxing. Again, more of that closer range sort of striking. So that's why he comes to mind when I talk about this breakdown. And I thought Gastelum did great. They both fought well, but I thought Gastelum did great. He looked great, especially earlier on. His movement, I think even his angles, his footwork. I was quite surprised, because Gastelum's been around for a while. You've seen him take a couple of losses. You started to think he's on the decline, and all of a sudden he put on a performance against a solid dude like Curtis, and his boxing looked very sharp. And he showed me that he's still got it. So I still think he's there, especially when you know he's still got that wrestling that can come in as well. So who am I going to pick here? I like both dudes as well. Get along with both dudes. I remember catching up with Rodriguez after the year fight. Yeah, solid dude, really good dude. Again, but all right, that aside, who do I pick though? I'm probably going to lean towards Gastelum in a sense where I still feel like he's fighting, unless, tell me if I'm wrong, maybe I've missed something lately. I still think he's fighting to win though. I still feel like he's not just fighting just for the fun of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I still think he's trying to win. So I still believe if things aren't going his way, he will mix it up. And I think he's got more tools to mix it up. So I believe he can take it to the ground and wrestle and clinch and win rounds and do enough to take the rounds. I think it's going to be a decision win. And I'm going to lean towards Gastelum. I think they've both got good chins. And I think it's going to be hard to finish both of them. If someone, look, Gastelum's got a really good chin. So I think it's going to be hard to take out his chin. If there is a finish, I might lean maybe more towards Gastelum. But I'm going to say decision. I think decision is definitely the pick for this one. The decision win for Gastelum is what I'm going to go with. But I think it should be a fun fight. It's going to be interesting. Has Gastelum still got it? I think he does. And let's see the range that Denny... Look, these are things that you can look at while you're watching, right? I'm trying to give you more info. Let's see if he does try and look for that closer range sort of boxing, if that makes sense. If Gastelum's at a bit of a longer range, are you going to see Rodriguez creep in, or is he going to be happy to sit out and then try and work at a longer range and see what tools he has there? So there's something you can keep an eye on. Let's see if someone goes... Let's see if Rodriguez can change his sort of game that I've seen, that I remember, to favour him maybe, or to change things up for someone like Gastelum. So there's not only a pick for you, something to look forward to into the fight. Maybe see if you can find the ranges. Let me see in the comments afterwards. Once you watch the fight, see if you noticed anything, and yeah, a little bit more to sort of dive into while you're watching. I like to break down fights, right? It's not only picks, styles as well. Let's break down styles, and it makes it more exciting, and you learn a lot more from that. So there's a little bit of information that you can keep an eye on. All right, next fight. Who we got? Volkov, Pavlovich. I think this is going to be a fun one because Pavlovich is going to he's going to try and fight his fight. He's going to come forward and try and impose his will. So this one will be interesting. Volkov's going to try and stay on the outside. He's obviously a kickboxer himself. This one is not going to the ground. I'll be quite surprised if it goes to the ground. I think Pavlovich's got a bit of wrestling himself, but I think he's going to want to keep it on the feet and land some big bombs over the top. Obviously, in the comments, we asked you if you wanted a deeper dive into the breakdowns, and you all said you loved it and you want to. So that's why I'm going to give you a bit more of a deeper dive. So I'll break down sort of styles, whether they are going to be crucial in the breakdown. I'm going to give you other things to sort of look at so you can get a better understanding of someone's style. So next time you're taking in fight picks, you can sort of take that into consideration in the future, right? For their next fights, because you might pay attention to these little things. So yeah, all right. So the range is what Volkov's going to try and fight at. He doesn't mind the teeps. For someone so rangy, I don't think he fights that long. I just mentioned in the previous fight with Gastelum, and that Gastelum can fight at a more MMA range. I think this is going to make sense. I think Volkov has a long kickboxing range. So kickboxing range where he won't be, a boxing range where they're going to fight and they're just going to be just outside the boxing. And the kickboxing is going to be a little bit further, and then I feel like the MMA goes a little bit further again. Again, you've got so much more to worry about, including takedowns. You don't want to just be going punch for punch in a range like this where the takedowns are going to be there, the knees, the kicks. You can't do the boxing range. And then for the kickboxing, you still need to be cautious of you just staying there, throwing a kick and being at a range where they're not that far for you to get taken down. So you might have to be better at that little bit longer range. So I feel Volkov will sit not too far out, but just far out of someone that wants to strike with him. Will try and sit there. Now Pavlovich, he wants to sort of press, and again, as I said earlier, sort of impose his will. Where he will come forward. He will, force his way through. Against someone like Tom Aspinall, it could have went well for him, but Aspinall, I've had high praise for him. So obviously he did great work against Pavlovich. So a lot of people are probably just, recency bias are going to look at that and be like, oh yeah, it's hard to pick Pavlovich. But Pavlovich is really good at finding his range, or finding his way in and landing some big shots. With someone like Volkov, who's going to try and throw teeps, he's going to try and throw some punches. Is the chin going to be there over the top as he's throwing something? I guarantee you Pavlovich is going to look for the shots over his jabs, his twos. Maybe the teep at a longer range might be harder for him to press. But if he finds his way around that where Volkov tries to use his hands, does that leave the chin open for a big shot that Pavlovich is definitely looking for? I think so. So let's see how good Volkov does with his kicking range, with his teeps staying longer every time he knows Pavlovich wants to press forward. Is he teeping and just pushing him, keeping him at bay? When he comes in, getting a better angle maybe and cutting off where, Pavlovich has to stop the pressure, square back up and then go again. Just little things like that. Let's see if Volkov Again, he's a high-level kickboxer. He probably can do it. Is it his style, though? Let's see. With someone like Pavlovich, I think he's going to need it. So let's see if he uses more of his teeps, longer-range sort of attacks, and wary of these punches where Pavlovich is going to look for the strikes over the top. He's going to try and counter your actual strikes. He won't try and make you miss and then go. He will fire as you go. You throw a jab, he's sitting a 2 straight over the top, or a hook, or he's punching straight through it. He backs himself and he's very dangerous. A lot of fighters are dangerous because of that. And I think that's more his style. So there's a bit of a breakdown. Who am I going to pick? I think through the way I was breaking it down, I think you could see who I'm leaning towards. Again, Volkov's been around. He's high level. He's definitely someone that can... Oh, who's the favourite?
Pavlovich.
Pavlovich's the favourite. Yeah, thought so. He's definitely, I was going to say, he's definitely... Volkov's definitely someone who can do an upset. He can maybe survive the 3 rounds and win a decision. Definitely. I can see that. But... I'm looking at a Pavlovich KO. I think he does get counted over the top. I think he's going to press. He might do great on the outside with teeps and whatnot. There's going to be a time where he's going to exchange, and there's going to have to be times where that happens, and I feel Pavlovich is going to land, and if he lands, I think it's good night. It's the powerful dude he is. I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to lean towards Pavlovich for the KO I'm looking at. I didn't give you a pick. Who was the favourite in Gastelum and Rodriguez?
Gastelum.
Gastelum's favourite.
It's the same odds as this fight.
Oh, really?
$1.
So, yeah, bookies are good with this. Or maybe they look at the well-roundedness. So I'm still going to stick to my pick there. You know, I like an underdog. Can Daniel Rodriguez, can he win a decision? 100%. You know, I can see that. Can he get an upset by decision? Yes, I do believe so. But I still think Gastelum's in it. I know I'm going back to this fight. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to get the numbers here. Yeah, what are we calling them?
The odds.
The odds. That's it. Well, I wanted to get the odds in there. And again, you know, I like an underdog. You know, I like to give you what's more valuable. But I think Gastelum's still in there to win. And he's got more tools to do so. I think his chin's too good to get caught and knocked out. So the only way I see him losing is by decision. And because of well-roundedness, I don't see that happening. So there's a reason why I'm leaning towards Gastelum, even though Gastelum's hot favourite, which I did not expect him to be such a hot favourite. But I'm still going to lean towards Gastelum. Anyway, all right, moving on. So that means what, Volkov's around $3 or something?
Yep, 280.
Again, hard to pick against Pavlovich. Just stylistically, I think he finds them big shots over the top. So I'm gonna go with Pavlovich on that one. Now, main event.
Whittaker.
You want to say the last name? Aliskerov. I've got it anyway. Robert Whittaker, Aliskerov. Let's start off with who's the favourite. Obviously, Robert Whittaker.
Rob, $1.68.
$1.68. Okay.
Yep. Ikram, $2.20.
$2.20. Ikram. Okay. So Rob Whittaker's not as a hot favourite as I thought he would be. He should be. Again, Aliskerov's dangerous. I think a lot of people looking at how dangerous he is. A lot of people are probably looking at his last fight, right? At Rob Whittaker's last fight, because the pressure was sort of put on him, and he didn't do well. And he admitted that he didn't expect him to come like that. So a lot of people expecting Aliskerov to do the same thing. But let's remember this: Rob Whittaker ain't going to make the same mistake twice. He ain't going to sit there and not be ready for someone to come hard at him, especially when he's trained all camp for Chimaev. He's ready for someone to come aggressively and bring a fight that wants, someone that really wants to take it to him. He's ready for this. He's expecting this. He's trained for this. And he knows last time it didn't go his way because he sort of wasn't prepared for that. So I guarantee you he's going to be prepared for this time. He's prepared for a dogfight. He's prepared for a hungry, young fella ready to just take everything from him. And I think this is going to be, who comes to mind with Romero and Robert Whittaker. Them fights come to mind. Everyone's got to remember Whittaker against Romero, how well he was defending them takedowns. He's very, very good there. You might remember his last fight and be like, oh, I ended up getting taken down. I think that maybe there was an element of surprise and obviously great work. Oh yeah, sorry. He won his last. Oh, I'm talking about. So he fought Paul Acosta last one. My bad. All right. Do I do that again? No, I don't need to do that again. All right. So all right, you're probably already like, hey, it wasn't his last one. Jake just let me know. I forgot Paulo Costa. He fought Paulo Costa. Mind you, that was the best Paulo Costa I've ever seen. I thought he looked great. If it wasn't Robert Whittaker in front of him, mate, like he would have probably won against most of the people. I truly do believe that he looked great. But Robert Whittaker is that good where it just wasn't enough against someone like him. And what I meant by people are probably remembering that being a sort of close fight. Let's remember Paulo Costa fought a great fight. Even changed a bit of his game there, which was unexpected. But before that, they're looking at Dricus, right? And Dricus was able to control him and whatnot. So that's where I was getting confused. I'm thinking people might still remember that and expect someone like Aliskerov, who's pretty well-rounded, who can submit you, wrestle, and knock you out. That this is a bad, not a bad matchup for Rob Whittaker. But last time we seen someone like this, it didn't really go well for him. But I want you to be reminded by Romero. Romero's fights with Robert Whittaker, how when he's well prepared, he knew what was coming for him and he prepared for that. Are we going to see the same Rob? I think so. That same Rob that turned up against Romero. Let's remember, he was ready to fight Chimaev. Chimaev was going to come aggressive. Chimaev's got one style, and that is absolutely bringing it and bringing the heat and coming straight for you. And I guarantee you Robert Whittaker was ready for that. He was ready for all the scrambles. He was ready for the scrambles on the ground, on the scrambles in the wrestling and the grappling. So I think he's going to be very sharp there. And he even knew that Chimaev will even still be aggressive on the feet and the takedowns. I think, he would have been prepared for him to bring heavy hands and heavier sort of grappling as well. So Aliskerov has them sort of threats as well. So I just believe that Robert Whittaker is going to be prepared for him. I think he's got too many tools on the feet, great angles, great speeds. I know a lot of people bring his blitzes and they'll be like, oh, he's just got a blitz. It's more than just a blitz. It's, the timing of the blitz. When's he doing a blitz, right? It's easy to say, oh, he just does blitz. All right, let me know when he's doing it, especially when he's throwing a lot of things in front of it, a lot of things that are going to camouflage those blitzes. He's got different attacks off the bridges. Sometimes he'll just go long jabs. Sometimes he'll go long twos, head either side. His jab lead hand's going to be head this side, rear hand's head's going to be this side. But the blitzes sort of look the same. As he's moving, boom, he'll blitz in, but he's got different sort of options with them, depending on what you give him. So it's, I think it's a little bit harder to sort of know what's coming from someone like Rob Whittaker because he will mix it up. So who am I leaning towards? Obviously, I'm going with the favourite on this one. I've got all favourites for this. I don't usually go all favourites, but I guess I'm going safe with this one. Who's the best underdog here? Before I finish up Robert Whittaker, who's the best underdog? My underdog pick is going to be Volkov. Again, I'm going all favourites. I'm going safe. If you want to go on underdog, because I like an underdog, Volkov is probably your underdog pick, especially at $3. Can he play it safe? 3 rounds. I think he can play it safe and just stay out of trouble. I think that's going to be your best underdog pick. But I am going with the favourites. My official picks are the favourites. So I'm going to go with Robert Whittaker. I know he's a favourite. What's the best value here? I can see a finish. So with Aliskerov coming in short notice, Robert Whittaker's can make this grindy. He's got a lot of movement, a lot of, I think the stress levels could be up there. Main event for Aliskerov. The stress levels of Robert Whittaker's style in front of him, giving him all these different looks and things to worry about. With the short notice, very short notice, I can see a finish. I can see, even though he's a great fighter. Good on Robert Whittaker for taking this fight on short notice. I think he's 15-1, Aliskerov, dangerous opponent. Not ranked. I don't think you'd be ranked. I don't know, but it's just the position Robert Whittaker in. He didn't have to do this, so hopefully he's getting paid well, and good on him for taking it. But I have to lean towards Robert Whittaker. Best value is probably going to finish. I can see it being a finish. Could it be a submission? I think in my last breakdown I mentioned this. If if Robert Whittaker, like as in with some people when they finish, what will they go for? I don't see them going for a submission. I think they're either going to go for go for the punches, won't look for the submission. I might have mentioned that in one of my last breakdowns. Some people might look for the finish, might look for the submission, where some won't. Some are just going to, they drop you, they're just going to punch your head through the canvas. And I think Robert Whittaker's one of them. He lands, he hurts you, he's going to go unload. So I'm not going to look at the submission, even though he's got great submissions, got great grappling. I'm going to look at TKO. TKO is probably your best value. I got Whittaker winning, but best value is probably going to be him winning by TKO, KO. I think he can get the finish, and if it is a finish, it's going to be by TKO. So that is my picks for that one. All top three fights. Again, fight night. Hopefully dove in deep enough for you guys. Remember, don't just watch the fight. If you love the game, watch what's happening there. Get a better understanding of the game. When you're listening to podcasts or analysts, if they're giving you this information, have a good listen. Get a deeper look into it. They're going to deep dive. They're going to have a deeper dive into the fights and give you a better understanding. So try and take in that knowledge and try and watch it. See if you can notice these things. See if we were completely wrong. Which can happen. Sometimes these guys, we're going by what they've done in their past fights, right? They might know that that's not the right thing to do for this fight. I might need to change it right up and do this. This is my game plan. So I'm going to completely switch it up. See if you notice it. See what they do differently. And if you do touch on these things, come back in the comments, let us know, and we'll be chatting about it. And all right, so I'll see you to the reaction of that one. But I appreciate every single one of you. Till next time.